Good evening, everyone. At the onset, there's a question that I'm going to put up to you. What does it take to break barriers, build dreams, and blaze new trails? And all this along with honoring your roots. Today, we meet a dynamic lady full of grit, determination, and resilience who turned tradition into strength, explored the world beyond boundaries, and continues to chase her dreams with the excellence of a sportswoman, the heart of a sportswoman, and vision of an entrepreneur. Her story isn't just inspiring, it's a celebration of courage, versatility, and grace. Good evening, Dr. Datla. Welcome to Stellar Conversations. And I'm so indebted to you, so thankful to you that you found time to be on my channel. Thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Archana. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you.
Thank you. So before I proceed, let me introduce you and your awesome personality to my viewers. So, because there's so much to say, I thought I'm going to write it down and put it as a presentation. So here we are, the presentation. Today's esteemed guest, Dr. Vanitha Datla. She is the Vice Chairperson of Elico Limited. She's also the Vice Chairperson and Managing Director of Elico Healthcare Services. And today she's here on Stellar Conversations. She's been a Bachelor of Arts. She's done a postgraduate diploma in business administration from ICFI Business School. She's also a chartered financial analyst. And also she's done the executive doctoral program in business from the very, very reputed ISB in Hyderabad. These are so many awards that she has achieved and excelled in so many fields for that. And she's on so many, boards as a board director, as a board member of governing body. So I now feel that if there's a cap with feathers, now I would find no place for any more feathers to put in. So congratulations, Dr. Vanitha. This is awesome and unbelievable. But then I'm so glad we have people like you in our country.
So thank you. Thank you, Archana.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Despite your busy schedule, you've been here. So without wasting any further time, let me embark upon today's journey. So my first question, Dr. Datla, is that as an undergraduate student, what were your academic and professional goals and aims? And at what age and stage did you start working? And in a nutshell, how has this journey been?
So let me rewind a little bit further back than the undergraduate. I come from a very conservative community where progressive families like mine sort of allowed their girl children to go to college or school or whatever, but until they sort of came to marriageable age. And so was the case with me. We were sort of groomed and conditioned to be good homemakers, to learn good cooking so that we could satiate our husbands. And that was always the narrative that was being given to us. Though I had a lot of dreams and ambitions growing up, my own father is a surgeon. Okay. And I really loved the entire hospital ecosystem. And I dreamt of becoming a surgeon myself, which unfortunately I couldn't get through the entrance exams those days, and there were very limited seats in the state that I was studying in. So I could not get through the merit quota. But a lot of my friends who didn't get through the merit quota then opted to pay a capitation fee and move through the other route, the management quota, which was not available in our state at that point of time. It was available in the adjoining states. But that was definitely not an option for my family, as they never thought or expected me to actually pursue a career. They were just sort of biding their time until I came of age, and then they wanted to get me married. So actually at the age of 18, when I had just finished my first year of undergraduation, right. And here I must tell you that though I pursued science until my 12th grade, and I did extremely well in science subjects, because I didn't get through the medical entrance and because there was nobody to guide me to pursue science also in my bachelor's, I went and opted for a Bachelor of Arts because a few of my friends were going there. So I just sort of joined them and got into arts.
Okay.
And after the first year, I got married. And actually, no single person from my entire family, both on my parental side or on my marital side, expected me to go back to college after my marriage. But I got married during the summer vacation, and when colleges reopened, I sort of said, I'm college is reopening, I'm trying to go back." And everybody said, "Why?" I mean, as though that was the life's ambition, that I got married, and why should I even think about studying further? But I said, "No, I mean, I don't want that. I would like to go back to college." And so I did go back to college. But I think 1 year later, my husband moved to the United States, and I moved along with him, thereby discontinuing my bachelor's also. And in the US, the entire ecosystem, this is about 33, 34 years back, the entire ecosystem was very different. Young people, whether they were like just out of high school or early into their academic graduation, were all very independent. They could take decisions by themselves. They did not have to depend on their families. Whereas we come from a very patriarchal society where the patriarch of the family actually dictates what can be done and should be done, especially for the women members of the family. And therefore, when I went there and I thought, oh my God, I'm just wasting my time. Let me go back to university. So I joined along with my husband. I did extremely well in different subjects there. And then I thought that I should make it a point to complete my graduation. And I definitely would like to make myself useful, then just not be a homemaker. So after of course, I couldn't actually complete my graduation there because there it is a 4 year program, while in India it's only a 3 year program. Though I just finished first year here, going there, these credits I could not transfer. So therefore, I was considered as a fresher there again. And to complete an undergraduate degree, one had to be 4 years in the university system. But because my husband he completed his master's and he moved for a job, I had to always discontinue, and there were a lot of breaks in my education.
Mhm.
And then later, I sort of had my children, and then my husband decided to move back. So I came back about 5 years later, still not having a degree on hand, still a young mother with two toddlers, and still having these dreams of somehow trying to complete my graduation and see if I get an opportunity somewhere. So that's where the story actually brought me back to India. And what I did is, because there was this almost 7 or 8 year gap from where my own classmates from my first year of graduation graduated, and at those days you could not go back to college, sit as a student and write those exams. So I had to go through the open university route. So I went back to the open university route, wrote my exams, and completed my bachelor's degree. And I felt that that was not just enough, and that to a BA in those days or even today doesn't really hold too much of value. So, and of course, I also wanted to work. I didn't want to sit at home and be a homemaker or just a mother. So, what did I do? I actually went to my grandfather. My grandfather is actually quite a big industrialist, and he had a number of companies, in his organization. But he always groomed the male members of our family. It was my brother, my cousins, my uncles. Very few times had he given opportunities for women, but those were more in sort of roles that were more symbolic rather than had any substance to it.
Mm.
So I just went to him one day and I said, "See, I don't like to be a homemaker. I mean, continue to be a homemaker. I'd like if you could offer me some sort of an opportunity in any one of your organizations." And he was a little taken aback because this was in the 1990s, where if you came from a moderately affluent family and you're married and you had children, for women, your ambitions are almost all achieved, and you really didn't have to do much, and you could just go the kitty party route. You could while away your time watching movies, shopping, and just basically taking care of home. But I didn't want to do that. So he took some time, but then he came back and he said, "Okay, I'll offer you an opportunity in one of the companies." But he made sure that I was placed in a company which I really didn't have to add any value, or I didn't even upset the ecosystem, because definitely, I mean, getting somebody, a family member, into a company position, and then they don't want, the balances to tilt. So at that point, when I joined him, he put me in one of the financial services company as a executive director, but this was only a puppet role. I mean, executive director today actually holds a huge responsibility, but I really didn't have any responsibilities per se because all decisions were taken by him, and I was just sort of being a bystander. But I also felt that just the Bachelor of Arts degree was not sufficient for me to, to actually play a good role going forward. And that's when I actually went back and wrote the entrance exams for the ICFI Business School. And I joined the full-time MBA, the PGDBA, and the CFA program. So joining that gave me a lot of theoretical knowledge, and I was able to connect that with the practical knowledge that I was able to get at the workplace. One thing that struck different in the campus was I was the oldest among the 89 students in that class because everybody were fresh graduates from their graduation and they came into the masters, but I had about a 7 or 8 year gap. I was the only one who was married, and I had two children to boot. So the first day when I was, when everybody was introducing themselves, and my heart was beating when I stood up and said, "See, I'm like this. This is my background. I'm a mother. I have two children." Everybody was shocked. They didn't expect, that a person like me would ever come back and and go through the grind of doing an MBA. Of course, a lot of my professors said, "Why do you need to learn driving when you can hire so many drivers for yourself?" I remember telling back one professor that, see, it's not good to be taken for a ride. So it's always better to be competent and to know. And then, though my classmates didn't believe me, I had to bring my toddlers to school, to campus to show them that, yes. So then I got the nickname of Mummy in the class. But then those 2 years went off very well.
Great.
Surprisingly, I think I was extremely dedicated, and also surprisingly, like I had the inhibitions that, see, I was not very savvy with the knowledge that all my classmates brought to the table. Just a second. So I was very diligent in all the assignments that were given to me. I would hand over all assignments on time because I didn't want to get caught. And the difference between me and the other 88 students were most of them were probably sent to that place by their parents or whatever, because they had to get progress in their academic field so that they could get into career. But I'm the only person who came there because I wanted to get out of my existing role of being a homemaker and a housewife.
Self-motivated,
So it
self-prepared.
was, I had to put in all my effort. I couldn't complain. I couldn't bring any of the tough situations even back home and tell them, "Oh, I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with that," because I knew that I had to seek a way to solve that for myself to be able to get through. And it was a very, very surprising stage when I actually graduated second in that entire class of brilliant people, only because I was diligent and only because I put in the hard work. It's not that I was super intelligent and I could crack all the papers easily. No, it was totally the opposite. In fact, I remember the first day in statistics, I completely forgot what A plus B whole square was. So I had to ask somebody, how do you derive it? And then they taught me. So I had my friends teaching me the basics. And then from there, I put in that extra effort to learn. So I continued. So then I got those two degrees, and I felt a little bit more confident that yes, I will be able to face, the workplace challenges also. But still, I did not really get too much of an opportunity to display my thoughts, my thoughts or my ideas. I always had to follow the patriarch, which was my grandfather. And then later on, I worked with my brother for some time, about almost a decade. So it was basically following. I was always playing second fiddle to know the main person of the company. So I'll stop there, and that's when actually, after almost a 15-year experience with both 5 years with my grandfather and 10 years with my brother, I then took a break, and then while I was enjoying my break, and in this time, because my children had come to that critical teen years, I was sitting at home and sort of be playing the dutiful mother role. That's when my husband said, "Why don't you join Elico? And you can come in part time. You really don't have to put in all the hours." But surprisingly, what happened is that part time became full time, became overtime, because then I got introduced to all these networking organizations, the industrial associations, the industrial platforms. And then I started becoming no more active in those, and then started playing bigger roles in those organizations.
Yeah. So it's been an incredible journey. In fact, when I was introducing you, I forgot a few things. So for my viewers, Dr. Datla has a company. It's a home company with the name of Elico, and they have expertise in making analytical instruments for the industry, for the medical industry, and also she is the vice chairperson of Elico Healthcare Services, which is a sister concern. And they provide services to clients in the healthcare industry in different countries, the big ones, that is USA, UK, Canada, Australia, Middle East, etc. So she has, despite all of her problems, so many thorns in her path, I'd rather say, she has 3 decades where she's really worked hard, and it's totally her grit and determination which have brought her to where she is today. And she's working in diverse sectors. It's like finance, insurance, cement, power, security, instrumentation, BPO services. I mean, you name it. And Dr. Datla is there. And she's had stints not just in India, but also in the US. And as a student, she's bagged so many awards, of which I'll just name a few. A silver medal for standing second, as she just said, in her graduation in the PGDBA. And also the Dean's Honor Roll, she's got a place over there for achieving the perfect 4.0 GPA for 3 consecutive semesters, which is not a easy deal at all. It's very difficult. And so like she's been brilliant as far as academics is concerned. And I mean, it's her hard work and resilience, I should say, which have brought her to this wonderful place where she is standing today. So coming to the second question, I had to write them down because they were so different. So I just noted them down. As I just mentioned, your professional work has so many diverse fields. Your company is there, Elico and all. So, today there are a lot of students who only think about engineering or medicine or maybe law as their career. So, could you just share that how did this thought get ignited in your mind to connect innovation and science with lab? And I mean, when did this first opportunity come to you, other than, of course, your family influence?
So, if you had seen the trajectory that my career took, I was seeking opportunity everywhere.
Okay.
So, I mean, I really didn't have a choice that I could pick and choose and say, "Oh, I like this industry and I like this position. So please let me apply and let me get it." So I always worked with family organizations. So primarily it was with my grandfather, then I moved to my brother, and then I moved to my husband's business. So these companies were already well established by that time. And to boot, I really did not have any domain expertise in any of these fields. So when I joined these companies, I had to actually be extremely humble and extremely open-minded to learn whatever I could from the people that were already there in the system, especially the professionals. So I think the one good thing that my grandfather also had done was he made me shadow all the professionals, all the senior people, especially in the companies. And that became a template for me in the subsequent companies also. So whenever I joined either my brother's company or my husband's company, I then began sitting with all the seniors, the heads of departments, the heads of functions. I began learning from them in addition to learning from outside too. I mean, from the book knowledge and the theoretical knowledge, and trying to sort of collaborate with them and make them also feel that I'm not a threat to them. Usually what happens in family businesses is when a family member enters the system, the ecosystem, professionals feel a little threatened. They feel, oh, this family members come, so my role or my position might be given to that person. I may not any more longer be relevant, and I might have to look for an outside opportunity. But me coming into the system, one, I was female. I was not qualified. I didn't have any external experience. And these three count a lot. Whereas for the men who come into the system, whether it was with my grandfather, with my brother, or with my husband, all the men who came in with external experience because they worked in outside companies. They've come with fantastic qualifications because they were engineers. They got their masters abroad.
Yeah.
And they were able to have their own domain expertise that they could bring to the table. With me, it was totally different. So I think for me, what worked in trying to achieve that balance of continuity and sustaining at the workplace was to be humble and to have a very, very open mindset and to collaborate and especially seek a lot of advice. And you should also understand that I was still young those days compared to all the professionals. Today, I'm at a stage where I'm older than all the professionals who are there in the system. So by virtue of age, people do respect and they do listen to me. But those days, it was a different situation. But for me to reach to this position, I should have hung in there, which I did, because there were challenges, there were obstacles. And usually, what happens with women, the moment you start facing these obstacles or these challenges, you tend to give up, you tend to sacrifice, and the ecosystem all around you, whether it's your family or friends or no maybe colleagues, will say, why do you want to face that? I mean, you can have a comfortable life. Maybe your husband is providing for you, or maybe you have enough. You really don't. This is not really. I mean, you are not. Your life is not hinging on this. So why do you have to face all these sort of issues? But for me, I think the ground or fundamental premise was that I did not want to be just a homemaker. So I sort of resisted and I faced all these challenges. I bore them whatever way that it came and sought a way to overcome them. And I think that is what allowed me to complete 30 years. In fact, last November, I completed 30 years in the entire industry, which is not a mean feat for people in my community. I mean, I've seen people younger to me who've worked 3, 4 years, and when they get pregnant, or that when their children are going to school, or when they face some sort of a difficult situation in their family, in their life, they just give up their career and they say, "Oh, that's it. I'm happy sitting at home and taking care of home and children." But I didn't want to be like that. And I think that has helped me gain some sort of privilege today, because today I'm able to see the bigger picture. I'm able to advise. You've shown the list of institutions and organizations where I'm affiliated to, either as a board director or as an advisory member. Because I carry these 30 years of experience, I'm able to see the bigger picture and offer that suggestions or recommendations or advice. And I think that is very essential for women because we bring a different perspective to the table. Otherwise, it becomes very unidimensional in the thought process. Men have their own way of looking at things, while women have a different way of looking at things. And that's where I feel that I'm bringing that difference and that uniqueness to whatever discussion happens in whichever organization.
Thank you so much for that. In fact, like I just mentioned that it's resilience and the will to excel. So probably that was your guiding force, and that's how you could withstand and not exactly opposition, but like there were people around you who were not really happy you're being there. So, but then you
Yes.
managed, you had your own mental courage and you managed to go on, of course, with a bit of family support as well. But then it's ultimately our own propelling force, which I guess puts us somewhere as an achiever.
Because Archana, there is a saying, no, I mean, you can drag the horse to the pond, but you make it drink? You can't. So maybe I mean, people could have dragged me to the pond, but ultimately, if I wanted to drink, I would have had the water. So I think that's quite a bit of an analogy with people, especially with women. I mean, women tend to, sort of crib that, oh, I didn't get this support, I don't have that support, I'm not able to do this. But I'm sure that if you have that passion somewhere and you have the dedication, you will find a way to make things fall into place, and that you will be able to. You might take gaps, you might take no step back a little bit, but then you will find time to come back again and to push for that, to achieve those goals of yours. So I think the underlying fact is to have that passion, to get it at whatever, it might be slow. It might not happen immediately. See, definitely people like pure professionals who probably chose the same path as I might have become, much, much senior to me. But
Yes.
I don't really mind because I'm only racing against myself. If I had not done this, I would have been somewhere behind. So because I put in that effort, I'm here today.
Yeah, you are your own competitor, right? And
Yes.
like, of course, that spark within has goaded you. Okay. Now, today, what happens is that students are when they pass out, when they complete their course, they have to be market ready. But unfortunately, our courses do not teach them how to be market ready. So, any one particular quality or thing which you think is missing or students of today lack and they should concentrate on?
So if you look at me itself, continual learning is necessary. And I always started off with the feeling that I was very underqualified. I had no external experience. And that goaded me to get further qualifications. It pushed me, nudged me to learn outside my purview. If you had asked me about 20 years back, we didn't have the advent of technology. Today, you can just sit at home and you can learn whatever course. It can be free of cost. You have so many resources that you can dip into to actually qualify yourself. So I think for students, and I'm sure today's generation is very, very competent and they know what to do and they're very savvy that way. But for them to probably choose the right tools to equip them to understand how the future of workplace is going to be like will sort of set them apart from the rest of the crowd. And I think being in tune with the bigger picture, not everybody understands the bigger picture today. I mean, today you look at the entire geopolitical tensions, you look at countries that were once considered to be the mecca of progress. Today, they are not. So if we understand that bigger picture and then we see what role we would like to play in that bigger picture, that will then guide us to choose those tools and those resources to dip into and to learn, to qualify ourselves, to certify. So just getting your degree from, say, some college will not be sufficient today. You will have to do that extra bit to be able to set you apart from the millions who are graduating every year. And if you want to have your dream role or you want to become an entrepreneur, hard work is necessary. You cannot just do the 9 to 5 and think that no, you will become the next Bill Gates or something like that. But you have to have that different frame of mind, and you have to understand that whatever you do, if you can add value to the world, then you will become invaluable in the process. And whatever path you choose, whether you become a professional, whether you become an entrepreneur, you will definitely achieve those dreams. And by achieving your own personal dreams, you'll be able to create so much of value to the ecosystem around you.
Now, coming to your personal achievements other than your professional ones, you have been a very active sports person. You've run marathons, you've trekked to the base camp of the Everest, and a lot of other, you've done a duathlon also. So, do you think that these kinds of activities have also helped in building resilience and adding on to your problem solving skills and to give you that mental toughness?
Definitely it does, Archana, because most of these long distance I mean, whether it's a marathon or whether it's trekking, it always sort of you have to dig into your own personality to see where you can get the strength.
Okay.
And that is almost like a scenario in, say, being an entrepreneur, because there will be lots of ups and downs. And it is during those downs that you will have to dig into your own personality to sort of dip into your resilience, into your ability to bounce back, into your ability to understand what the crisis is, take a back step, and then sort of look at it from a different perspective. And that is what happens during these long distance endurance events, because it is not a sprint which gets over, say, in 15-20 minutes, and then no, you expend your entire 100% energy and then you're done. But this, you have to ensure that whatever energy you have, that you have to spread it across the endurance event. So marathon maybe for 4 to 6 hours, so you have to ensure that that 6 hours that you are running on your feet and that you cannot just fall on the side. I had done long distance cycling. So, like, you're cycling for 12 to 14 hours straight. So, you have to see that you have your energy is sort of taken only in bits and pieces throughout the event. Same is the case with trekking to these high altitude places. Another thing that it helps you is maybe team, how you have team dynamics. How do you gel with your team when you're climbing those difficult treks? Because you have to depend on people who will support you during that time. Another area that of course, is your own mental strength. You'll have to talk to yourself, saying that it is mind over your body. There will come a time when the body cannot push anymore, and that's when your mind has to take over. And they normally, in the marathon language, they call it that you're hitting the wall. Maybe at this is a 42-kilometer run, and maybe at the 30th kilometer or the 35th kilometer, your body's hit the wall and you feel that you cannot put one more step. And that's where the mind comes in. So you have to talk to yourself, saying that it is just a few more meters, it is just one more loop, one more lap, one more round. So that's where the mind overcomes the body and pushes the body. And that's what happens as an entrepreneur too, or even as a professional, when you're facing the toughest of battles or the toughest of crisis type of situations, where you will put in everything that you have to be able to help you cross it over.
Okay.
So I definitely do acknowledge that having put my time into all these activities has helped me become a better entrepreneur today.
Great, great. I wish people would, get some, because of all these inputs, they get motivated into doing all of this. We have just about 3 minutes left, so I can just ask you one more question. Today, girls are giving up on family. They do not want to get married. They just want to pursue their careers. Any message for them that family also is important, the husband, children, they also make up, they're indispensable part of your life. Just in, maybe a minute.
Yeah, but so I feel that I'm not in a position to give any advice on that, because these are all personal choices and it is a generational issue.
Yeah.
Excuse me. See,
Okay.
we've been conditioned that no, family is there.
Yeah.
Family is a must. You have to have progeny and all that. We've been conditioned like that. Maybe there's a change, a shift in that mindset. And who are we to preach to the girls? I think today's girls know what they want and what they should pursue and what they shouldn't pursue. So looking at all options, I think they're in the best judge of where they want to take their own lives. If they are willing to stay single and deal with the consequences, let them do, because if they are happy that way, it is much better than getting into unyielding relationships and then creating a lot of chaos afterwards. So I think do what is best for you. I'm not in a position to advise to anybody that do this, do that.
Yeah.
It might have worked for some people, it might not work for other people. So I don't think that there is one single template that fits everybody. While it did in the past, people were suppressed their own emotions, they suppressed their own wants because they had to fit into the mold. But I think the future generations, that is not necessary. They can do whatever they need to. And I think ultimately happiness and peace is what is necessary and what everybody is seeking. So I'm sure there are other ways that they can get that sort of benefits.
So thank you so much, Dr. Datla. And it's been an incredible conversation with you right now. Your journey from tradition to transformation, from local roots to, global experiences. It's truly empowering and very, very inspirational. Thank you so much for sharing all of these life events with us, which really make up a great, great story. Your wisdom, your spirit, you've shared with me, and I'm so thankful to you for that. Uh, Me and all the viewers, my audience, we all wish you continued success joy, and many more adventures, new ones, as you go ahead. Like you'll be leaving for the US very soon, I guess. So, in all that you do, our wish is keep shining, keep inspiring. Thank you so very much once again. It was a pleasure having you over here with us. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Archana. Yeah, thank you so much, Archana. It really was a pleasure chatting with you. And I hope that I've made sense to all your listeners and viewers.
Yes, there were many more questions. I'll ask them once you're back. Okay,
Sure.
thank you so much once again. Bye bye. Good night. Have a wonderful journey.
Thank you.